Leadership Unleashed, a place where we explore leadership ideas and dare to question the status quo. We all want things in life. The question is, how do you get what you want in life? We all want to improve things, and oftentimes it feels like we're just spinning our wheels and don't really know how to get there. So the question is, how do we get there from where we're at? The first and most important thing is to be very clear about what you want, because the last thing you would want in the world is to work so hard to get towards a goal only to find out that that's not what you wanted. And I have seen this time and time and time again. I can't tell you how many times I've heard of people that have put years or even decades into education, into training programs, only to find out they didn't want to be a lawyer or they didn't want to be a doctor because they never really went and checked out what that was like. So what I'm saying is the first and most important thing is to be very, very clear on what your goals are and why you want to do them. It's important to spend some deep and quiet time day after day, be very intentional about what you want. Because it would be tragic if the thing that you wanted, or at least what you thought you wanted, turned out to not be what you wanted, and you spent all this time and energy focused in the wrong direction. So it's important to be very, very intentional and really tap into the why and the emotional why about why you would want something. Our brains are powerful devices that can really help us when we're searching for new goals. Our brains will literally help us get where we want, but we have to give them a little nudge and tell them where we want to go. We need to use our natural tendencies of our minds to help us find a path to success. One way to do that is visioning. It's a key component of really trying to move yourself forward. Literally use your mind to imagine in clarity the thing that you want, where you want to go, what it'll look like, smell like, feel like, especially what it'll emotionally feel like. That's very, very important, because if you have a dry goal that you haven't really put a lot of emotion into it, it's hard to believe that you're really going to focus on it day after day, especially when things get hard or the timelines are longer than you want them to be. One example I like to use and like to tell people about from my life is when I really wanted a new job, and it was a stretch for me. I was moving into a new executive role, and, in some ways it looked out of reach. I literally went and took a picture of the door placard of the office that I wanted and photoshopped it and put my name on it, and I used that day after day as I focused and looked at it and thought about what it would be like to be in this new position. And I'll tell you what, I really believe it worked. And again, it was intentional focus, intentional looking at it. Kind of seems corny if you look at it from the outside, but I'll tell you what, I believe it worked. Another tool that I highly recommend is to journal. You hear all about it, and it's a great place to write down your goals in explicit detail and talk about them. In a way, it's your brain translating into writing and back to your brain what you really want. It's a way to get very, very clear about your goals and your objectives. I use a journal continuously to write about and ponder and strategize about goals. It really helps me, again, because it helps your brain translate into practical and concrete detail what you're thinking about. Otherwise, you're just kind of daydreaming day in and day out, like, what would it be like to win the lottery? Not that I recommend that as a strategy you should write down in your journal, but still, using that as a way to organize your thoughts is very, very important, because it takes your brain signals and those kind of dreams and daydreams that aren't very clear and focuses them down into writing and helps you sharpen what you want to do. Acting the part is really important. What I mean by that is really acting, behaving, and thinking as if your goal has already been achieved. Science has shown that your brain really doesn't know the difference between what actually happens to you on a daily basis and what you emotionally and continuously think about. That is really amazing if you think about it. There's been study after study after study where they've had participants shoot free throws, for example, just in their mind. Others actually go out on the court and practice them. And they find that those that just think about them and just visualize working through again and again, shooting free throws, can have a dramatic improvement in shooting free throws. They actually make the basket with no physical practice. It is amazing the power of your brain. So if you tap into that and use that, it's so important because it will help you progress towards your goal. You literally have to start believing and behaving as if you have achieved your goal. literally act the part. It'll feel a little funny at first. You may feel like an imposter, but you really have to act the part if you want to have your goals come true. You will eventually start to notice evidence too of progress. And this is so cool when it happens in life, because you'll see little serendipitous things that'll come out of nowhere, little coincidences that seem to open up doors or break down barriers that seem to come out of nowhere. But it's your brain working at it. It's your mind spending the time focused on it. You will start to notice things that you just didn't notice before because you weren't primed to look for it. Have you ever purchased a new car? My wife got a new car that was a white SUV, and guess what? Suddenly we saw the same kind of car every single place we went. Now, were there really more of those cars, or were we just primed to notice them? And that you will notice that again and again and again. So pay attention to these. Pay attention to these little coincidences that seem to come out of nowhere, because it's evidence that your mind is starting to pay attention to your goals. Also, daily attention to your goal really, really matters. You must spend time daily, even hourly, focusing on your goals and what you want to do and how you can move the ball forward and how you can progress towards your goals. Literally, this can be, like I said, hour by hour, journaling, checking again, visualizing, spending time to very consciously and intentionally work on your goals. You have to keep it top of mind all the time. Now, finally, you can do nothing if you don't take action. If you just daydream about your goals and daydream about the future but never take actual action towards it, you're probably not going to get anywhere. You need to daily take action towards your goals, even if it's the smallest little step to move forward. And these things take discipline, right? We spoke about taking action, but also the discipline to daily write in your journal, to daily make sure that you're visualizing and making sure that it becomes literally a disciplined practice in your life. So you're paying attention constantly, day in, hour by hour, day in, day out. Your mind will only listen to you if you consistently focus on things and consistently make them present in your mind. So let's take a moment to talk about correct choices. As I said earlier on, sometimes people work really hard for a long, long time only to find out that what they were focused on wasn't the right thing. I like to say you can make the right choice or you can make the choice right. You'll hear that again and again, and this has happened to me many, many times in my life, where sometimes you make a step in a direction, take a new job, move to a new place, do something new, and you find out, whoa, this didn't really work out the way I wanted to. So again, it's time to readjust your goals and re-look at your actions, and you can actually make that choice that you thought was so right that didn't turn out right and move it in the right direction. So it's not catastrophic if you've made the wrong goal and made the wrong choice towards it. You can slowly move that in the right direction. The point is, don't give up. You can make the right choice or you can make the choice right. It's your call, as long as you're intentional and you focus on it, just like I said. So the combination of all these steps together, setting and writing down a clear goal, making sure you're really clear on what you want, visioning the future and literally feeling and acting as if you are in that new future, acting as if you've already achieved it, you're feeling that way emotionally, try to charge it up, paying daily attention to your vision and your goal by using journaling and visioning exercises are really, really helpful. And of course, you got to take action and be disciplined with your attention every single hour, every single day, and you can achieve your goals. If you do these things, it is inevitable that you'll make progress towards your goals and ultimately achieve them. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like what you saw, please go and hit that subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are turned on, and that way you'll receive a notification anytime new video content comes out. Now go out there and lead.